Hello everyone, my name is Gil Blander and I'm representing InsideTracker. Today I will discuss with you how InsideTracker can help you to hack stuff, and specifically we'll discuss how applying objective insight from blood, DNA, and activity tracker for your personal optimization. Next slide, please. So what is this InsideTracker? Our mission in InsideTracker is to transform the way every human being eat, sleep, and move to live a longer, better life. Next, please. What we do, we empower consumer with actionable nutrition and lifestyle guidance delivered from their unique blood, DNA, and activity tracker, and also habits. Our analytic platform integrates biology, science, and technology to produce essential information people need to advance their health and well-being. Next, please. So what we are doing, we are integrating several different data sources, such as blood, genetic, and activity tracker, and allowing you to have an holistic view of your body. Next, please. Next, please. So we are turning data into actionable steps. And here you can see an example of the workflow feed. So we are collecting the data of your blood, DNA, activity tracker, your profile, your habits, and data from your wearable. We are running it into an expert system that calls Sectera X, and that giving you basically an information in your InsideTracker platform. Next, please. Here you can see an example of our expert system. We call it Sectera X. And in order to build this expert system, we have a team of scientists that extract data from a peer-reviewed scientific publication. They looked at thousands and thousands of peer-reviewed scientific publications every week and extract the most meaningful scientific publications. Then when they have it, they rank each scientific publication based on the N number of the study, based on the quality of the study, what kind of study, and so on, and extract a specific recommendation from it. All of that get into our expert system that feed in addition to that with the user goals, the user profile, the user preferences, and the user biomarker data. And again, the biomarker data are coming from blood, DNA, and activity tracker. And the expert system show to the user a specific recommendation that fit for him based on his age, gender, ethnicity, and athletic activity. Those recommendations can be seen on your smartphone inside our app or in a web platform. Next, please. So we make personalized nutrition happen. And InsideTracker has built the leading science and technology platform to enable a core of personalized nutrition. Next, please. So now I will discuss with you our mobile app. It's a very exciting app that we developed a few months ago. And basically, this mobile app brought our vision into reality. So the mobile app combined blood, DNA, and activity tracker to empower a consumer with actionable nutrition and lifestyle guidance. And in this example, you can see here an example of recommendation that show the blood data. In this example, LDL and total cholesterol are high, and the issue that this person have with his body or with his physiology. REM sleep is too low, and the rating heart rate is too high, and also that he have an issue with the DNA for total cholesterol, or LDL cholesterol, sorry. Next. So here you can see an example of the onboarding to the app. So the first step of the user is to select a goal. And we have around 15 different goals that the user can select from. Here you can see an example of overall health, lose fat, and so on. Then when the user select the goal, we're asking him whether he would like to receive only one recommendation and be very focused, or would like to have multiple recommendations, and then based on that, follow the multiple recommendation to expedite his journey. And then after that, he started to receive the recommendations. Next. So in the mobile app, we have a few very cool features. One of them is the wellness score. The wellness score is actually a combination of your blood data with the activity tracker data and with your engagement on your recommendation that you selected. So basically, we know whether you have checked in into a specific recommendation, and based on that, we are adjusting the wellness score. So the wellness score changes daily based on your activity tracker data and your check-in, and that's a way for us to engage you to become a better you. Next, please. Also in the mobile app, we are showing to you the biomarkers that you have and where are they standing. And you can see in this example, resting heart rate and BMI are physiomarkers, but next to it you have testosterone. And in this example, all of them are not optimized. But you can also see some markers that are optimized, for example, LDL cholesterol. And in the right side of the slide, you can see how the LDL cholesterol, change over time. So you can zoom in and zoom out and understand exactly what's happening with your body in this example. Next, please. So we are also, as I said before, receive data from activity tracker. In this example, you can see resting heart rate and sleep. So the integration with that allowing us to give the user a feedback every day about what's happening in his body based on the activity tracker, but also longer and a bit more scientific blood data every few months. Next, please. Here you can see the recommendation, and you can see that in this example, you have recommendation to drink coffee every day. You can see that the user can check in for that, but you can see what coffee is doing for him in the right side, and you can see that coffee can help him to optimize. In this example, is high glucose, ALT, and IgGT, which ALT and GGT are marker of liver health. But you can see also what the DNA said about coffee, and you can also look and read the peer-reviewed scientific publication that we extracted the recommendation from. Next. The user can, as I said before, can build a plan. And you can see that he can, in this example, this user have 36 different recommendations, and he can choose from them. And you can see here that it shows a few recommendations. Each recommendation have what we call the impact score. And the impact score is how good is this recommendation for the general population, but on top of that, how is good for you? So basically, based on the biomarker that you have that are not optimized, we can tell you whether this recommendation is the best for you, basically receive the score of 10, or the second phase that receive the score of 9.8. So that's help you to understand which one is the best for you to use. Next. As I said before, the user can check in. And as we know, check-in is not easy. People don't like to log in and do check-in every day. So what we incorporate something that called auto check-in. Basically, if something that we recommend you to do, for example, to sleep or to exercise, if we can receive the data from your activity tracker, we can automatically check you in for that. So you don't need to log in into the app in order to do that. While other activities, such eating more soy food, it's something that's currently very hard to know. So unfortunately, we'll still need to log in into the app. But doing the check-in will allow us to understand you better, and that will also allow us to modulate or adjust your wellness score. Next, please. So the user also can receive pro tip, and the pro tip can come based on the activity tracker data, such as sleep and resting heart rate, but can be specific for blood biomarker or specific for achievement. For example, you checked in 5 times, or your sleep is the best ever. So all of that increase the engagement of the user, and by that, improve the chance that the user will improve his biomarkers and hopefully will live longer, better life. Next, please. So far I showed you, I'll explain to you what is InsideTracker and show you the mobile app, but the question is, does it really work? So it was a big question for us in the last few years, and finally we decided to investigate that. And we published a paper a couple of years ago, and in the next slide you can see what we have done. So basically we looked at a population of 1,000 InsideTracker users or so. Next slide, please. And you can see the breakdown of male versus female, the age, the average age was 41, what ethnicity have been included, what was the mean BMI, how often they exercise, and what was the average time between baseline and follow-up. Next, please. This slide is very interesting because it shows how many users selected a specific intervention. And as I said before, InsideTracker is a personalized nutrition platform. So it's not like we are telling everyone to eat oatmeal or to drink coffee. We have thousands of different recommendations that the user can select from. So what we try to show here is how many times how many users selected a specific intervention. And you can see that the majority of our users selected only 1 to 10 only the majority of the recommendations were selected only by 1 to 10 users, while only a few recommendations were selected by more than 120 users. So basically, it showed that this experiment or InsideTracker is very personalized, and the users are selecting most of them selecting a completely different recommendation. To go even deeper of that, in this experiment, we had around 1,000 users, and they selected 525 different interventions. So it was a really personalized nutrition experiment. Next slide, please. Here you can see a table that showed the summary of the result, and I want to apologize that this table is pretty small. But what you can see in the table is, first, on the left, you can see the biomarker, vitamin D, LDL, HDL, and so on. You can see how was it changed, what is the mean change of the biomarker. You can see the baseline level, the follow-up level, what is the p-value, meaning how significant it is, what is the N number, and what is the out of range. So now let me try to explain to you what the results are showing. So basically, for each biomarkers, we looked at the biomarker or on the users that started with biomarker out of the normal range. In the example of vitamin D, which is on the top, all the users that started with vitamin D below 30. Okay? Then we follow up with them for on average of 7 months, and we've seen what happened. And you can see that in the example of vitamin D, we've seen an increase, a mean increase of around 11 units. So they started at around 21 and increased to around 35. So that was very significant, and you can see the p-value. You can see similar effect on LDL. So our users that started with LDL that is above 130, which is considered to be out of normal or too high, they significantly decreased their LDL. In HDL, it was the opposite. They increased it because HDL is a good cholesterol. And you can see it in a lot of different markers, including glucose, which is a very important marker. And you can see that that population started with glucose of around 114 and decreased it to around 99. So basically, they started at a pre-diabetic level and finish in a normal level, which is very exciting. Next slide, please. So it's a study, and I want to say that there are a lot of limitations for the study, and I want to emphasize that. We're not saying that it's a bulletproof. So one of the major limitations is that it's an observational study. So we are not showing cause and effect. We are just showing observation that InsideTracker may work. We are not saying that it's for sure working. It's still, the sample size is not huge. It's pretty big. It's 1,000 people, but it's not huge. And the population was self-selected. So basically, in order to be part of this study, you need to have enough money in your pocket and be very engaged. So there are a few other limitations that are mentioned here, and I'm sure that you can read it, but I just want to summarize that even though that it's a great study and I'm very excited about that, every study has a limitation. Next slide. So what does it mean for you? And here at a biohacker conference, I was thinking maybe we should show you a few examples of what biohackers, what people like you are doing with such a platform. Next slide, please. So, so the question is for a lot is, does that hack work? So a lot of you are doing crazy stuff. I've done it before, taking a cold shower or getting into cryo chamber or fasting for 50 days and so on, which is very cool and very exciting. But the question is, does it do good for you or maybe it doesn't? So in order to do that, I think that InsideTracker can be a very good tool. So I would like to show you a couple of examples of InsideTracker users that use InsideTracker in order to monitor their hack. Next slide, please. So here you can see an example of one of our users. His name is Quantified Bob, that he used InsideTracker to understand if fasting mimic diet work for his body. So what you have seen that it might in one way, but it's not in other way. And by the way, biology is always like that. Something working and something are not. So in this example, is HSCRP, which is a marker of inflammation, significantly decreased and went from the out of optimal range to the optimal range following his hack. But actually his white blood cells worsen. So as I said, it's a mixed answer. Next is another example of a different hacker. Her name is Diana, and she used InsideTracker to understand how a vegan keto diet impacts her body. So you can see that following this diet, her LDL improved, it went down. Her HDL improved as well, but her triglyceride actually worsened. So again, some positive effect, but some negative. But what is nice about those two examples is that nobody can argue with a blood biomarker. That's the gold standard. That's what physicians are doing. So that basically can tell you whether you are going for keto. Is it going to work for you or not? Some people it's good for them, but some it's not. Or going paleo, or going vegan. So I think that it's very important to have a science-based answer to the question that you are asking and not just doing it because it's cool. Next slide, please. So that's all what I wanted to tell you. Enjoy the conference, and I think the tools like InsideTracker can help you a lot in your biohacking endeavor. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend. Bye.